everyone, in this video we're going to look at an example using the SAS postulate. But before we get started, let's just recall what the SAS postulate even says. So the SAS postulate says that if two sides and the included angle of one triangle are congruent to two sides and the included angle of a second triangle, then the triangles are congruent. Alright, and so remember that the included angle is the angle in between two sides of a polygon. Okay, so let's just look at a visual representation to help us get a better picture of what the statement is actually saying. Okay, so here we notice that side length PQ is congruent to side length WX. Looking at these triangles PQS and WXY, we see that since there's one tick mark for that side PQ and one tick mark for that side WX, that means that those two sides are congruent. And so you can see that here on this side. Okay, and then we also notice that side SQ has two tick marks, and so does side YX. And so that means that those two sides are congruent to each other. And so far we have that two sides of the triangles are congruent. Now we need the included angles to be congruent, right? So in other words, we need angle Q to be congruent to angle X. And we see that that's true, right? Because we have that each of these angles have one curve mark, which means that the measurements of those angles are the same, which means they're congruent. Okay, and so we have then by SAS that these two triangles are congruent. So that's what this is saying. Okay, and so hence the name, you see side, angle, side. Alright, so that's how we know whether or not these two triangles are congruent using the SAS postulate. Okay, let's actually look at an example now. So in this example, I'm asking you, can we use SAS to say that the triangles are congruent? So can we use the SAS postulate to say that the triangles are congruent? Okay. Well, first we want to determine if there's two sides of these triangles that are congruent to each other. Okay, so here I'm just going to highlight that we notice that this side of the triangle at the top is congruent to this side of the triangle at the bottom, right? Because we see that they both have one tick mark, so that means that both of those sides are congruent. And then also we see that this side is congruent to this side of the bottom triangle. Okay, because the triangle at the top has two tick marks there for that side that I just highlighted in pink, and so does the triangle at the bottom. So far we have two sides of the top triangle is congruent to two sides of the bottom triangle, and so now we need that included angle, right, the angle in between those two sides of the top triangle, to be congruent to the included angle for the bottom triangle. Okay, and so what we notice is that both of these included angles have this one curve, which means that these angles are congruent. And so, yes, we can use side, angle, side postulate, right, SAS postulate, to say that these triangles are congruent. So the answer is yes.